Hello everyone, this is Chris Cippinelli on site at the Manufacturing Leadership Summit with Marie Gervais of Global Leadership Associates. Marie was here with us at the Manufacturing Leadership Council meeting, our annual meeting here at the Breakers, at the summit, and had a lot of good discussion at the council meeting about various critical issues for manufacturers. And in your business, actually, let's talk a little bit about what you do so we get some context for your experience in manufacturing.
Well, I'm a consultant for industry. Almost all of my clients are in manufacturing, and the kind of consultant work that I do is managerial training and also workplace integration for a diverse workforce. So how to maximize the talent of your diverse workforce, how to move them up, how to identify talent when it doesn't look like what you are expecting, those kinds of things. So that's what I do. I also have one other thing that I'm working on right now, which is I'm creating a computer game for a manufacturing leadership people skills. It's, I think, the first one ever invented.
Really?
Yes, gamifying of soft skills for manufacturing.
Coming to an iPhone and iPad near you soon?
Near you soon.
Okay, very good. We'll look for that. One of your comments today in the meeting was very interesting to me. You talked about infrastructure challenges at some of the companies that you've dealt with, some of the companies you've consulted with. Can you talk a little bit about what that means? You had a very specific context for infrastructure.
Well, I have, because a lot of my training, the companies that I'm working for would like to cut down the costs of the training, and so one of the ways that they do that is to have on-site training. And so because it's on-site, and well, I always do tours of the plants before I work with them anyway, and no matter what company I'm working with, sometimes I do several tours. And basically, everybody's complaining about the same thing. We ask for recommendations from the middle management and the upper management when we're talking with them throughout the training. And just about everybody is saying our infrastructure can't keep up, our physical infrastructure can't keep up with the dynamism that we're expected to show for our customers. And many of them have invented within a crumbling infrastructure, in fact, in a lot of situations, a pretty amazing technological, innovative thing, but it's not going to stay there for very long because the physical structure is crumbling underneath it.
And usually when we hear that, we're talking about the national infrastructure, roads, railways, etc. You're talking very specifically.
Buildings, but I'm also actually talking about roads too. Okay. I'm talking about the traffic that's going back and forth to the plants. I'm talking about the impact on the community, and that's also part of it. So there's that kind of, there's government, the government and manufacturing are not working together on the infrastructure issues that they need to address. Okay. So if you're bringing 6,000 people a day over roads several times a day, 24 hours, because you're running nonstop 7 days a week, that has significant impact. So, yeah. And
then internally, if you talk about the facilities themselves, doesn't that just require additional investment? Are they leery of making that investment? What's the picture there?
Well, I'm not going to say anything definitive because I think it's different for each client. However, what I see is a reluctance to invest in the structure because they're thinking, well, we're going to have to build new, we're going to wait to see where the trends are, the economy is volatile, let's see where it looks like the most business is, then we'll just build a new plant here and we'll let this one run to the ground. So in the meantime, people are working in not very good conditions. Like I would not want to work in those conditions. And not only people, but the machines can't function properly. So you're looking at machines that can't function within, and I mean, if your plumbing and your electricity can't handle your new robotics.
Right. Right. Advanced technology needs to.
That's right. Yeah. And along with that, you've got machines that need to be replaced on an ongoing basis. And if you're bringing in new robotics, then you have these machines that need to be replaced. You can't afford to do both. So, and if you don't do both, then things keep falling apart. Right. It's like a vicious circle. Yeah.
And you think primarily that's tied to the economic uncertainty?
Well, there's economic uncertainty. There's the company has to decide where it's going to put its money, and it doesn't see so much a bottom line change from putting a new roof on a plant. I'm going to give you one of the clients that I worked with kept saying for 20 years that they didn't need the new roof, and then their whole plant collapsed. There were strong winds, and it collapsed, and they lost billions of dollars, and they lost customers because they have 6 plants, but this was their major one, and they couldn't supply to their supply chain, and they lost all those customers, and the company's folded. So I mean, you can leave these things for a while, but too far.
Yeah, it's
down the
interesting.
road.
Yeah, we talk about a lot about what you cannot control, the volatility in the supply chain, but these are the fundamentals. These are the things that you can
I
control.
have lots of specific examples. I'll just give you a couple more.
Okay.
Another company that had, they had their coolers. Their coolers were too old, and the coolers are the sizes of warehouses. Like they're big, huge things. And the cooler roof was, this was another roof issue. The cooler roof hadn't been built to code 30 years ago, and then they had lots of inspectors come in and say that there's issues with it and that it needed to be changed, and the company didn't want to make any improvements to it because they thought in 10 years we're going to be out of this building anyway. And so the cooler roof collapsed and killed 2 employees.
Wow.
So, I mean, and when I wrote my report, I put 3 pages worth of what was going to happen if somebody died, if they didn't pay attention to it. And I had maintenance managers come to me in tears saying, deal with this, make them listen. And so that's also a question of responsiveness at the higher level.
Right.
The higher level has to listen to the people that are closest to where the problems are. That would help a lot.
Very good.